score. The Crusaders with a 6-point halftime lead. And getting ready to kick things off here to start the second half is number 3, Tim Kirchmer, for the Crusaders.
Keep it up. Double our score. Don't let them double ours, though.
Kirchmer kicks the ball deep. This is a very good kick. This is going to go over the head of the intended receiver, number 10, Chuck Gordon, the kick return man. And that will go back for a touchback. So Bay City will start at their own 20-yard line here in the second half. And Mike, the first half saw quite a bit of passing on the part of both teams, particularly the Crusaders, who had only about 5 or less running plays. Meanwhile, the Bay City offense was a little bit more mixed up.
Yeah, Kubiak, I believe, this is not a for sure fact, but he threw for nearly 200 yards, 192 yards. They definitely like to put up the ball, and at this rate, he could throw for nearly 400 yards. So we did not see a running type of game in the first half. We don't know what's going to happen in the second half as Bay City lines up.
Number 7, Herb Stoneman, and in the backfield is Haller gives to Stoneman, and he's going to go off left tackle, and he'll get about 2 yards. You know, Mike, it looks as if Bay City has a couple of good running backs, and we know that Norris is a good running back, number 23, although he's not in the game right now. But they don't seem to get very much against this Lansing Crusader defense.
No, the Crusaders up front, led by Harris and Bancroft and Radishawn Beasley, just simply dominate that front line. And, you know, it's really tough to run against them. I think that if you're going to beat the Crusaders, you have to definitely mix it up and try some trickery.
Garrison and Sullivan wide on the sides for Bay City as Haller gives the ball to number 7, Stoneman, and he's got a little bit of room over the middle, and he'll pick up 20 yards, a good gain. Herb Stoneman, the ball carrier for Bay City.
That's definitely a good run by Herb Stoneman. He's got good speed, looks about 5'10", 180 pounds, very quick feet, a nice cut back on the field on that play.
I made one mistake, and ease up. Okay.
First down and 10 now for Bay City. A little bit of offensive shifting here, a lot of defensive adjustment as Haller takes a snap, and the give is back to Stoneman again. He's tripped up by number 88 for the Crusaders. Guy Bancroft got into the backfield and tripped up the ball carrier that time.
Yeah, there was a lot of movement on the defense by the Crusaders, and like we were saying, you're not going to be able to run too often, too successfully against them.
Well, it's been mostly a defensive game so far. 3 touchdowns have been scored in 2 quarters of action, and you have the feeling, Mike, that if the Crusaders can score 2 more this half, they might win it. We'll see. Ben Haller with number 1, Jerry Garrison, in motion, and Haller is looking over the middle to number 88, and he's got his intended receiver, but the ball is dropped. Well, what's the call going to be? This will be a very confusing call. I thought it was a caught pass and a dropped and a fumble, but they're going to call it incomplete, it looks like. We'll see. They're having a conference right now.
Yeah, he blew his whistle,
and you can tell by the way you can tell by the reactions of the Crusader players. This one will go against Lansing. They're calling it incomplete.
I thought it might have been a little bit of a quick whistle on the part of the refs as well, but those are the breaks, and you have to just ignore them and go on. And I think the Crusaders, as a veteran team who's been in this league for many years, will be able to do that with no problem. That brings up a 3rd and 9 for Bay City, and we'll see what they'll try to do on this play, Ben.
Number 14 is Brian Sullivan wide to the far side. Number 88 is Gary Niedzwiski on the near side, and number 1 is Garrison in motion. Haller is throwing over the middle, and he he didn't hit either intended receiver. Jerry Garrison and Gary Niedzwiski were both the intended receivers, and the ball was thrown between them.
I'll tell you, Herb Stoneman was back there in a blocking situation, and he just got nailed by one of the linemen for the Crusaders. Crusaders penetrated Haller very well. Now a punting situation.
Standing on their own 25-yard line for the Crusaders as the return man, number 8, Joe Clifford, and number 87, Kevin Humes. Kicking will be the quarterback, Ben Haller. And he's got a little bit of pressure this time, and he kicked it short. Number 56, Jeff Bickerstaff, picked up the ball, went about 5 yards, and that's where he was stopped at his own 39-yard line.
Well, Bickerstaff, normally a linebacker, got to play receiver on that one, and I don't know exactly if he knew what he wanted to do once he caught the ball.
Well, Mike, the character of the Lansing Crusaders ball club is often the type of a team that they need something to fire them up. They're a tremendously talented team, and they're used to dominating their opposition, although Bay City would be an exception. They beat them by only 4 points the last time they played, but quite often it takes a little something to get them sparked before they actually get going, and perhaps the interception or the fumble that wasn't a fumble may get them going. Kubiak will take the ball and flip it over to Root, who goes around his right side and gets 5 yards.
That was simply a great play, Ben. That time they mixed it up a little bit. Bay City was on their toes for a pass, and it was just simply a smart play. I'm glad to see him run the ball a little bit. If you had to make a comparison between these two teams as far as on a pro level, Bay City reminds me slightly of the Oakland Raiders by their colors, not necessarily by their intimidation, but by their colors. And then Bay City reminds me, Lansing Crusaders reminds me of the San Francisco 49ers and their colors, as well as how many times they passed the ball.
Well, they threw it quite a bit in the first half, and they've opened up the second half with the running play, but Kubiak will drop back here on second down, throw it a little short one back to Root, and he's got nobody in front of him, and Kevin Humes with a fine block on the sideline. That picked up another 3 or 4 yards. A very good downfield block by Kevin Humes, but the big play was made by number 28, Ken Root, and he's carried the ball both times now in the second half for the Crusaders. Perhaps Lansing will get a chance to run the ball this half a little more than they did in the first half.
Yeah, I'm glad they're getting Root involved in the game more. He did a good job of running the ball in the first half, and to catch a pass like that, it seems to make some sense. The Crusaders are going to use him, it looks like, a little bit more in this half, and Bay City better start looking for him.
Bob Kubiak is going to hand off now to Frazini at number 22, and he's not going to go anywhere. Brian Frazini out of Howell. He picked up maybe a yard. So 3 plays, and 2 of them are running plays. The third one a pass to a running back. And I think, Mike, in the first half, Lansing didn't have a chance to develop any kind of a running game because they were constantly in passing situations.
Yeah, that's a good point. But, you know, I think that we got to realize is that they put themselves in that situation, too. Now they're not opening up with a first or second and 10. 3rd and 11 or whatever. You're opening up with a 2nd and 5. In that situation, that obviously gives them a chance to do more things.
It's 2nd and 8 right now at about the 25-yard line of Bay City. And Bob Kubiak is going to drop back, look over towards Kevin Humes, and it's picked off. This one's going to go for a touchdown. Number 24, Steve Woodrow, has only Bob Kubiak to beat, and he might need 1 block, and he's gone. This one will be a touch. No, he's not. He pulled back, and he didn't score. Well, I hate to be presumptuous. It did look like it was a touchdown coming up. But once again, number 24, Steve Woodrow, with an excellent play for Bay City, and he's been playing well all night long.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I thought he was going to go all the way at first. Fortunately, the Crusaders had an angle on him and were able to cut him off on that play. That could turn things around. However, for Bay City, and it gives them excellent field position.
Okay, first down and 10 now for Bay City at the Lansing Crusader 21-yard line. Ben Heller, the quarterback, and he's calling the signals, and he's going to give now to Norris, who's back in the game, and once again Norris gets about 2 yards on the play. So Carl Norris is back into the game for Bay City, and he picks up 3 yards on that play. The ball now is on the 18-yard line of the Crusaders, and Bay City, with that big interception now, has a chance to get the ball into the end zone and take a lead. Ben Haller, the quarterback, with a give to Norris, and Norris has got some room around the left side. Finally will be brought down at the 5-yard line of the Crusaders. So the explosive Carl Norris now making his impact felt in this Michigan Charity Football League championship game. Championship of the Eastern Conference at stake, and now with a first down and goal at the 5-yard line for Bay City, the Crusaders will ask for time.
Yeah, if Bikowski didn't run him out of bounds on that play, he would have scored. The Crusaders got to do something here. They need a big defensive play. Otherwise, this game will definitely turn its tide as far as momentum.
Well, the momentum in the first half was basically a little bit back and forth. Neither team had it for an extended period of time. Obviously, right now, the momentum is in the hands of the Bay City Brahmas. And with a rushing attack and a ball carrier like Carl Norris, I think it'll be pretty hard to stop them now. They'll have 4 tries to get it into the end zone, and they need 5 yards. And now the attempted 2-point conversion by the Crusaders on their second touchdown at the end of the first half is suspect, because a touchdown and an extra point kick here would give Bay City the lead, and perhaps the lead for good.
Ben, I was just informed, you know, these referees even get a little tired as the big fella went on the sidelines to get a drink in between that break, or between that break.
Well, we're midway through the third period now, and this is the most important series of downs in the ball game, as Ben Haller will take his Bay City offense to the 5-yard line of the Crusaders and try and get inside the end zone. Carl Norris, the up back, and the give, no doubt, is to Norris, and he's going to go all the way in for a touchdown easily. No problem there. So now it's a tie ball game, Mike, and that 2-point conversion is the difference.
Yeah, that definitely looms big now, and no doubt about it, Bay City will go for the one and most likely put it up and through. The biggest thing now is that the Crusaders got to get their offense back in gear and get concentrated and forget about that pass interception, and they need a good return on a kickoff.
Well, Ben Haller will have to split the uprights, though, with this extra point attempt, or else it will remain a tie, and all of our discussion about the 2-point conversion will be a moot point. Jerry Garrison is going to be holding number 1 for Bay City. Ben Haller will be kicking. And here's the snap. It's a bit high. Haller gets it up, and it's good. So the Bay City Brahmas have the lead now in this Michigan Charity Football League playoff game. It's 14-13, Mike Felker, and now the Crusaders are going to have to bear down and play some football.
Yeah, no question about that, Ben. They're just going to have to concentrate a little harder, try to execute, and once again, they will probably go to the pass and try to get a quick lead here. They don't like to mess around with the run too much, and they're not as scared to do anything.
Well, since the Crusaders began play in the Michigan Charity Football League, they've had 59 games, and their record is 52-7, and that's including a winning streak of 33 of their past 34 games. That's basically the past 3 years. Their last regular season loss was in 1982. Their last loss of any kind was the last game of last year up in Cadillac, Michigan, where the Northmen took the championship game of the MCFL 36-28. And another stat, Bob Kubiak, of course, has been the regular for the Crusaders for about 3-4 years now. And Bob Kubiak's record as quarterback for the Crusaders, 36-2.
So Kubiak is not used to these type of situations, so we'll see what happens here.
The entire ball club isn't used to it, Mike, and they're going to have to get back into their own swing of things. A lot of noise coming from the Bay City side. Clifford and Humes back to receive, and a good kickoff, very high. Humes in position, Clifford to block for him, and they've got good penetration by Bay City, and Humes dodges about 5 tackles, and he's still on his feet, and that was a brilliant return.
Excellent return, Ben. He could have been stopped at the 5-yard line. He did everything on his own on that one, and it was simply all his effort. He could have let it go in the end zone and been, you know, starting off at the 20. Took a chance and almost broke it all the way.
Well, that's why Humes is the man back there to take the kickoff. As you said, he caught the ball somewhere around the 5, and he really didn't have any blocking, so to speak. The blocking wall for the Crusaders broke down almost immediately under the special teams pressure of Bay City. And so the Crusaders, by virtue of Kevin Humes' return, will start at the 26-yard line. Bob Kubiak will quick flip to Humes on the sideline, and Humes gets about 2 yards, maybe 3.
That seems like a play that the Crusaders like to run quite a bit. However, I do think that Bay City's getting to catch on to it.
Well, we've got an injury on the field. Bay City player is down and can't get up. Hard to say what it was that brought him down or what his injury might be. But that's what the conference is there at the middle of the field. Well, now he's lying on his back.
Yeah, Ben, he really looked like he got nailed. It could be the wind knocked out of him. We can't get his number from this vantage point, but we'll let you know as soon as we do find out who it is.
Well, it's number 2, and that would be T.J. Troop, a defensive back that they could ill afford to lose in this contest. I think you may be right. The wind knocked out of him because he wasn't holding an arm or a leg, and it looked like for a moment he was thinking about getting up, but changed his mind. And he's being helped off the field. That's number 2 with number 71 helping him, his teammate, Mac Walcott. So I think we can expect to see TJ back in the game.
That's a good break for Bay City. A bad break for the Crusaders, though, as TJ is an excellent defensive back.
Well, the wide receivers now, number 86 and 87, Bo Newberry and Kevin Humes for the Crusaders, and Joe Clifford and Ken Root in the backfield in a pro set, possibly an offsides. The flag is down. Ken Root rolling out to his right side. He's cutting an angle, and he rambles for about 9 yards, but 2 flags are down. I think this will be on Bay City. Number 79, Dave Watts, the defensive tackle, is being pointed at as the culprit in this one. Here's the call.
Preliminary indication. Well, man on the field.
That was 12 men on the field, Ben. So we'll have a 2nd and 7 situation, it looks like.
Illegal participation is the actual name of that violation, and that's why the flag went up immediately. And that's a rare call.
No, it's pretty good that the refs picked something up like that, because you get involved with these games, and it's a hard thing to keep track of. The Detroit Lions are famous, unfortunately, for doing similar situations.
Well, that'll save Lansing a down.
And Ben, that's exactly what he called it. I could hear illegal participation.
Or if you're on the playground, it's called too many players. But anyway, 46-yard line is where the Crusaders will start this play. Again, Newberry and Humes, the wide receivers. Kubiak is going to drop back and go over the middle to Humes and almost picked off. Well, this is going to be an interference call, I believe. Clifford was laying on the ground when the ball went by him. And I think there may have been some extra contact there by the defense. They're going to talk about it right now.
That's what I think it was.
And it is pass interference on Bay City. So 2 penalties in a row now have hurt the Bay City Brahmas. And if I know the Lansing Crusaders, one of these next 2 plays would be a big one, because normally when the other team gives them a couple of breaks, they take advantage of it almost immediately.
Yeah, that's one thing you can tell. The good teams, you know, make their mistakes, and the good teams take advantages of the mistakes that are made by their opponents. And no doubt about the Crusaders, they're one of those teams that will definitely benefit from this. And we're hearing all sorts of yelling on the Bay City side. It's 1st and 5.
Well, the Crusaders have moved into Bay City territory. They'll be snapping the ball at the 48-yard line of the Brahmas. Kubiak now an inside handoff to Clifford, and he doesn't get very much at all. You know, he did a good job just to hang on to that ball, Mike, because he had defenders on him as he was taking the handoff, and many times that will force a fumble.
Yeah, this shows you that the Brahmas do have a good defense. They're not a bunch of wimps out there, I guess is the best way I could describe it. They penetrate very well, and it looks like they're tough against the run, and maybe that's one of the reasons Crusaders have passed the ball so much, is because they're not easy to run against.
2nd down and 8 for the Crusaders. Bob Kubiak again going back to pass, and he's looking towards Bo Newberry, but he gives off to Ken Root. A pass over the middle. Well, he was really hit. He really took a hit when he went down, and that did not gain the Crusaders very much in the way of yardage.
Yeah, Steve Roller's really lowered the pop on him, but it just shows you how tough Root is, as he just simply got back up and acted as if he didn't even feel it.
We've got another player down on the field on the far side, another Bay City Brahma. He is behind number 61 as you look at your screen. You can see his helmet now as the officials are standing over him. We can't pick up a number on him. This one may be more of a serious injury than the last one.
Yeah, usually you can tell by the reaction of the sidelines, and Just about everyone came out there as soon as they saw it. I'm afraid it might be a knee, but it really is hard to tell from our situation here.
4:48 left in the third period. The score is Bay City 14, Lansing 13. And the Crusaders now are getting a free timeout by virtue of the injury to the Bay City player. They seem to be just using a timeout to rest. Meanwhile, here comes number 22, Brian Frazzini, bringing a play in, and Ken Root, number 28, will come out.
I noticed that the Crusaders like to rotate their backs quite a bit, which is great because then you keep a fresh guy in there all the time. They also seem to be able to handle the ball well in the pass situations, and the Crusaders definitely do have some talent all around on offense. It's just a matter of getting some consistency, and we'll see what we can do after this injury timeout. The Bay City players right now limping off the field. It looks like it's not as bad as we originally thought. You cannot see that on your screen, but he seems to be okay over on the sideline.
Okay, a 3rd down and 6 situation now for the Crusaders with 4:48 left in the third period. They need 6 yards now. And Mark Bozo is lined up as a flanker as Bob Kubiak, under some pressure, will throw over the middle to Bo Newberry. The ball was tipped, and Bo got a piece of it anyway, but he dropped it as he was hit.
And then there were too many black jerseys around that football in that play, and it seems like right now every time the Crusaders throw, it's that situation.
Well, I don't want to say their offense is predictable, but I think I've picked up on it pretty well these past couple of years, and I would think that any other coach that might scout, I know these game tapes are traded amongst the coaches in the league, and it may be that Bay City is getting a feel for what Lansing is going to do. Number 3, Kirchmer, getting ready to punt. He's got a lot of pressure, and they hit him. Well, they're going to have to call it. They're not going to call it. Number 14. Number 14 is Brian Sullivan. And at number 3, the punter, Kirchmer, Tim Kirchmer, is wondering why wasn't there a roughing the kicker call. And I don't have an answer for that, Mike.
Well, I think he was blocked into him on that play, Ben. We do not have a replay of it, but if we did, it would seem to be that way. That's the only thing I can think of.
Well, you know, in college football nowadays, if you are blocked into the punter, it is still roughing the kicker, but apparently under MCFL rules, it won't be a roughing the kicker penalty.
Either that or the ref missed it.
He couldn't have missed it. I saw him looking right at it. Anyway, it'll be Bay City with the ball. Ben Heller, the quarterback. He takes the snap and gives to number 23, Carl Norris. Again, speeding it up and going to the outside. And he's brought down after about a 5-yard gain.
Well, Norris is their workhorse, and then he's certainly has shown his mobility and ability, as he's taken just about every first play of every series by the Bay City team.
2nd and 5 now with time running. The clock is running in the third quarter. Coming down to 4 minutes even here in the third quarter. And it is 2nd down and 5. You know, if I was the Bay City coach, I might just think about running Carl Norris on every play. Ben Heller, the quarterback, is going to give right back to Norris up the middle, and he'll be shy of a first down by a couple of yards.
Yeah, Ben, you can't blame them for running. They've been so far this quarter very successful with it. However, I do think that the Crusaders will eventually settle down their defense and contain Norris to some extent.
You know, one thing that Joe Costello pointed out at the beginning of this game about the Bay City Brahmas team is that they've got a lot of size on their offensive line. And I see here number 74, Andre Sangaster, a 6'5", 285-pound offensive lineman, and a 6'4", 255-pound offensive lineman. So the Bay City offensive line is starting to do a job. And that one looks like it's good enough for a first down.
Yeah, it looks like they could be running down the defense of the Crusaders. However, the Crusaders are a very agile team, and they're not exactly a bunch of Smurfs out there.
Chris Williams was the ball carrier on that play. So 3 running plays, good for a first down for Bay City. And they're starting to set something up, I think, Mike, running the ball a little bit more. forcing the Crusader defense inside, and that may open something up over the middle. Ben Haller, the quarterback, and he's going to pitch now to number 7, Stoneman, and penetration galore for the Crusaders, and he's going nowhere. Everybody was in for Lansing that time. They had that one smelled out perfectly. And they're going to lose yardage. Bay City will lose about 2 yards on that play.
Yeah, Guy Bencroft made that play. He got great penetration, which enabled, I don't know who exactly made that tackle. I think it was...
I think it was the whole defense, really.
Exactly. But he really opened things up.
Ben Haller, the quarterback, with a 2nd and 11 situation, and he's going to give off to Stoneman again around the right side. A flag is in the air. Stoneman goes out after about 8 yards. What's the call?
Ben, I think we're going to have a clip against Bay City Brahmas, but I'm not positive.
Well, Mike Felker thinks it'll be clipping, and the call is going to be holding against the Crusaders. So that will give Bay City a first down. Under 2 minutes left here in the 3rd period. It's still a 1-point ball game. You're watching Michigan Charity Football League playoff action on Lansing Cable 36. The Lansing Crusaders against the Bay City Brahmas for the Eastern Conference Championship. The winner to advance to the finals next week against either Tri-Cities or Oceana. And now the officials have reversed their call. It's going to be holding on Bay City.
Yeah, Ben, I saw that play, and I could tell it was not against the Crusaders. That's why I was kind of shocked. You can hear the people in our booth who are obviously Crusader fans. We're happy for that call.
Ball's at about the 30-yard line now of Bay City, 2nd down and 21. Haller, the quarterback, calling a long count and giving off to Stoneman over the right tackle. He'll fight for 5 yards.
Well, they got some tough backs. Stoneman, Norris, both are doing a great job. Plus, they put in Chris Williams in there every once in a while. So they definitely have some good backs. Looks like the Crusaders are going in with the nickel. Now, this could be a big play by the Crusaders.
You're doing a nice job,
Number 84, Jesse Brown, is the extra back, and he is lining up 20 yards off the line of scrimmage. It's 3rd down and 15. Just over a minute left in the 3rd period. Haller takes a snap, drops back. It's a draw play to Stoneman, and he didn't go anywhere. He got hit about 3 times before he went down, but he eventually gained only about a yard. And so the Crusaders will get an opportunity with the football once again here in the 3rd period.
John Petoskey made a good arm tackle on that one. Otherwise, he might have gone for a first down. But in any case, it's 4th and 11. The Crusaders definitely have a chance to get good field position. I believe Newberry's back for the punt. We'll see what is it. Newberry?
Back to kick for Bay City is Haller, the quarterback. Plenty of time, and this one is a beauty. This one is a beauty. Plenty of hang time, and Clifford is going to catch it and immediately go down at his own 20-yard line. No, that's the 15-yard line. So Haller really did a job on that kick.
Yeah, good hang time. They gave a chance for the Brahmas to get down there.
Good hang time and good distance.
Well, we got 14 seconds on the clock for the 3rd quarter. The Crusaders got to do something now. It's getting late in the ball game. We still got a quarter left, but the way it's been defensively dominated, plus the mistakes that have happened, the Crusaders better get on the board as soon as they can.
Well, let's see if the Crusaders still have any kind of a ground game with Clifford and Frazzini in the backfield. And the whistle goes before the ball is snapped. That's the end of the 3rd period. Lansing Crusaders are behind the Bay City Brahmas by a single point here at the end of the 3rd quarter in Michigan Charity Football League playoff action here at Olivet High School. We'll get ready now for the final period of action here. The Crusaders will be starting with the ball 1st and 10 at their own 15-yard line.
It's probably this week. Next week.
Here's the first play of the 4th quarter. Kubiak with a pitch out now to Frazzini around his right side, and he's brought down after no gain. The Crusaders going back to the running plays, trying to establish some type of a ground game. The time will be going quickly if they run the ball, as the clock continues to move on every running play.
The defense of the Brahmas is really fired up. They're going to key on everything right now. They have a lot of emotion in this game, and the Crusaders realize that this is their really last chance as far as the season goes. So I'm sure there have a lot of things going through their minds as well.
As they say in a lot of sports, there is no tomorrow for either